money and possessions. Now, the currency in Vietnam is called Vietnam Dong, but US dollars is also an official currency in Vietnam, and if you do any trading in US dollars, it's supposed to be done at the official rate. Now, sometimes you will get charged extra because it's done in US dollars. You can insist on having it done at the official rate if you want to. But I recommend in any case that, as a general rule, you can draw Vietnam Dong through your trading accounts based in Australia or whatever country you're coming from, and you'll be perfectly okay. Don't change your US dollars on the street. Okay. Don't tip unless you feel you've had exceptional circumstances. Vietnam is not a tipping culture. As a general rule, tipping is not expected. It will always be welcomed if you want to leave one, but I would leave one for a service that you consider really worth it. Do take care with your handbag or your wallet. If you're staying in a hotel, do lock your passport and spare cash in your hotel room safe. Only take what you need for that day. Do leave your hotel room key with the reception staff, again if you're staying in a hotel. Don't flash a whole lot of expensive jewellery. They already think you're rich. Why should you reinforce their prejudice? Do take special care with your expensive iPhone. It is a hot item in Vietnam. And as a last thing, don't worry about your passport being taken overnight and presented to the local police station. The hotel, if you're staying there, is required by law to do that, and you will get the passport back the next morning. Queues. They don't exist in Vietnam. It's considered polite even to interrupt dealing with you to deal with another person who comes along and wants to deal with the other person. So, So they have no concept of whose turn it is, so I recommend that you squeeze in a little, but not too much, especially if you're bigger than they are. They're already acutely conscious of you. You will get your turn. It does work somehow. Okay, greetings and physical contact. Especially in the provinces, expect Vietnamese people to be shy and modest. They do shake hands, but lightly. They'll never do a firm handshake. It's common for the same sexes to link arms in public, and it doesn't mean anything sexual. But as ever in Ho Chi Minh City and with the young people, these rules are breaking down, and you'll find it common for young lovers to go around holding hands and all that kind of thing. Personal remarks. They're not nosy. It's just part of being polite and also being interested in you. Don't change the subject if they ask about your family. Do have your family photos ready. Do talk about all the various members of your family if you get the chance. You will very likely be asked your age fairly early on. They're not being rude. They are simply working out how they should address you in their own language or talk about you among each other. Don't forget to ask them also about their families. That's part of politeness and interest in them. Your body. Now, if there's anything unusual about your body, as there is about mine, someone will be sure to comment on it, and they may even laugh about it. One of the things I learned very on was don't take offence. In some cases, they may even envy you. Don't get offended at any words spoken about you or gestures pointed at you. Do just smile and laugh if you can. Yes and no. Almost all Vietnamese, except maybe government officials, will do everything they can to avoid saying no. You will get lots of yeses, but not every yes means yes. It may mean, yes, I hear what you're saying, or yes, keep going. Because you see, saying no causes you to lose face, and they don't want you to lose face. So they'll say yes to you. Yes, they agree to do something, even if they're not really going to do it at all. Okay, don't assume that a yes is a yes, and don't assume that it's not a yes either. Do ask further questions to clarify what they meant. Do ask open-ended questions to get them to tell you more. And do check your information with someone you can trust if you've got someone like that handy. I mean, sure, there are times at which you're just guessing as to what's really meant. But do your best, and it's amazing how things work out. In terms of clothes, some of these things apply particularly in the provinces. Rules are loosening in Ho Chi Minh City under Western influence. Generally, don't wear scruffy or baggy dress. Ladies, don't dress provocatively, showing a lot of skin and shoulders and breasts. That's considered impolite. But everybody do dress sharply. As single and available, the marriage game. This is banter that Vietnamese enjoy, even though there's nothing serious meant by it. However, you're a rich Westerner, and single person, you may be a target, so you need to be careful how you go about things. Don't make romantic or sexual advances towards anyone at any time. Don't give anyone gifts of precious items or make any personal promises towards them. Don't encourage someone if you suspect they're infatuated with you. Instead, do go to your team leader and report whatever is going on. They'll know what to do. You may find yourself in a restaurant from time to time, and the restaurant rules in a Vietnamese restaurant are somewhat different to what they are in a Western restaurant. This is not all restaurants, but you need to be aware if you see some things happening that are different to what you're used to back home. Don't be surprised if the waiters hover over you. They're showing you polite attention. They're not badgering you for the order. You can still take your time to read the entire order. Don't be surprised if meals are ordered together. You can order your meals separately, but generally in Vietnam, people put in one big order and they take from whichever dish they want to. Do think carefully about what you want to drink that evening. There are some restaurants where the waiter is expected to come and top up your drink without you asking for it, although that doesn't generally happen. Do think carefully about drinking the local water. This is a real biggie if you're on a short-term team. You've got to expect that the ice in particular is dangerous. You don't know where that water's come from. It could have come from anywhere. You should be safe drinking bottled, purified water. That's really your safest bet. Leadership is done differently in Vietnam to what you're used to in the West. It's an authoritarian society, and it is generally patriarchal. That is, things revolve around the father, the man. Okay, face, honour, respect and dignity go with the position, not with the performance. That means that older people and people in positions of authority automatically have face, honour, dignity, and therefore they have different titles by which they are addressed in Vietnamese. Mr. in English covers quite a lot of Vietnamese titles. Do always use pastor if you're introduced to a pastor in that way, or sister if it's a nun, or whatever, just as appropriate. Do always address someone by their title or its English version if that's how they're introduced to you. Do always show respect to an older person, a government official or a professional person. They always have honour. Don't ever make light of their leaders or your team leader in public. This is exceptionally rude. Do serve honoured people wherever you can. Even though as a Western guest you have your own honour, do serve wherever you can. Political speech, avoid it. Don't discuss local politics with the Vietnamese. They certainly won't introduce it to you. Don't ever criticise the communist government, and don't ever, ever, ever for any reason criticise Ho Chi Minh.